This stone here was one of the stones that was on top of the Mimizi house. The Mimizi house represents the birth house. So again, our ancestors always use symbols and representations for the best thing for birth. So why would they use the little figure here called Bes in Egypt? Why would they use that to represent birth? The first people in the beginning of the Nile. Our ancestors said on the Papyrus of Hunefer that we came from the beginning of the Nile where God happily dwelt at the foothill of the mountain of the moon. That being Kilimanjaro and Zuri, both those places I have visited. So here our ancestors acknowledge them as the first people to represent birth. That's where they saw the Kui land, as it was called. The Kui land, the land of the spirits, the original Taneter land, the Holy Land. So again, we see all the representations, all representing inner Africa. It's not coming from Asia, it's not coming from Europe, and it's not coming from extraterrestrials. Everything that we see on the temples and representation, as I continues to say about the zoomorphic forms, as Mary Ross showed in her lecture last night, clearly showed representations of the innate intelligence of nature itself, animal nature, innate intelligence, plant nature, innate intelligence. So we did not see ourselves above those elemental forces, we saw ourselves one with it. Whereas the white supremacy system came on, is like they were superior than everything, meaning animals and everything else, when we are one with those forces. So our ancestors saw the Lotwa as the first people. These are the people that migrated down the fallopian tube, migrated up out of Africa, migrated into Europe, migrated into Asia. I know it's hard for us to even imagine at one time the whole planet was a black planet. No, right. Now those early Gamaldis who migrated into Europe, okay, they didn't migrate, say let's go to Europe. The earth goes through various stages. It was going through a warm stage, okay? It was maybe an early, what they call global warming during that time period, okay? So they migrated there, but what happened, an ice age came. The Grimaldis had a chance, as they were called anthropologically speaking, Grimaldis, they could either survive or die. What did they do? They went into caves. They went into caves. But when they came out that caves, they lost their melanin. Again, they had to live in the ice climate. And this is what created the Cro-Magnon man. The Cro-Magnon man is the European man. As I continuously to quote Michael Bradley in his book, at least he's a white guy having an objective view of his own people that white folks don't like to do. That's why they don't like Michael Bradley, because he's the first one that had an objective view of his own people. And he wrote his book, Prehistoric Sources, A Western Man's Racism, Sexism, and Aggression. And he talks about the reason that is an underdevelopment of the pineal gland from them living in the ice climate that caused a difference in their behavior, whereas we're the sun people. So again, when we look at the Asia, and you see their eyes, the way their eyes look, why is that? Thousands of years, those of you who live in the northeastern part of the United States, when that sun hits that snow, what's the first thing your eyes do? It's bright, it closes, it's a squint. So this would cause Asians to look the way that they look, okay? So that also, now if you're living way out on the Serengeti Plains, okay, and you have to take in oxygen. You have to take in oxygen, so what's gonna happen? Your nose are gonna be wider to take in oxygen. You live in now let's go to the highlands of Ethiopia, all right? Now Ethiopia, that's my first experience to realize when I went to Ethiopia for the first time, I'm thinking all of Africa's hot, okay? So I didn't bring any coats. I get up the highlands of Ethiopia and it's cold. I said it's cold in Africa, all right? But for them to take in oxygen, what happens to their nose? Thin. So these are African features, brothers and sisters. These are not European features. These are African features. Africa gave birth to everybody on the planet Earth. But white supremacy wants to make you think that other people have, they're in other people, not the other way around. We gave birth to them through the Grimaldis, okay? That became the Cro-Magnon man. We gave birth to Asia through the Grimaldis, who migrated to Asia. So this is, when you're short in stature, why are the Twa short in stature? Why aren't they tall? Why is the little Twa, why is he short? Can anybody tell me why he's short, why he's not tall? Because he's living in the Itoi forest. He's living in the Congo, okay? Whereas when you're living in open plains, you got to throw off heat. So when you're living in a cold, when you're not getting the cold, just like the Eskimos, they're short because they're trying to preserve energy. So they got to stay short. But when you're tall, you got to throw off heat from your body. So nature makes us the way we are. Nature makes us the way we are. Our hair is the way it is, that's keratin. Okay, that's good hair. Okay? When you got straight hair, that's bad hair. Don't have keratin. That's bad hair. When you have the hair I heard a sister say when it got the nap turners, the nap turners in the back, that's good hair because the protein is there. All right. So this is how we have to say that Mutnechet made us how we are. Okay. So this is a brief explanation on that and why our ancestors respected the Twa, and they always have their tongue sticking out. Like, yeah, we were first, like teasing all y'all.